now being 37 and still being I guess a professional surfer, it's like the longevity has been amazing, and at the time, 18, 19, those pivotal years where you need to make a splash and get, that global attention and, get sponsored and do that whole thing. We kind of were underdogs. It felt like that all the time, kind of really just had to grind for it and work and prove it to ourselves and prove it to other people that we were capable of belonging on the stage and everything. I feel like we've always had to work for it. And so they saw the work ethic they instilled in us from a young age to just, hey, if you want it, you got to freaking get it. Like, you got to grind it. Like, no one's going to give it to you. Like, and then too, especially when you're halfway across the world in a country that you don't speak the language, and, your rental car is broken down on the side of the road and you got to make it to your heats. And here's like fully adult males that with no priority, and they're coming to eat you. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you have to work, and give it hell, So I feel like, yeah, it was just, that became the way we applied our passion for learning. It was just a different canvas. We learned how to exist in the world and learned how to compete and learned how to navigate those pressures and strengths and this and that,
So the plan at that time was to chase the QS?
Yeah, that seemed like.
And who were your sponsors? And obviously they supported that effort, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so
it's amazing because Channel Islands, we've been on Channel Islands surfboard since we were 14 years old. So that was awesome. And so they've been through and through. We were riding for O'Neill at the time, Vans shoes. And I think that was about it. Jack's Surf Shop. They've supported us for a long time. So it was cool. Patrick and I hit the road first, and that was freaking eye-opening. Like you said, we started on the domestic series, which was rad, and then, we go out to the global stage, and it was a whole different ball game in a good way. Mm-hmm. And then Tanner came along 2 years later and just jumped right in the car with us, and we weren't going to have it any other way.
Yeah.
I mean, he was, at that young age, you could tell he had the skill set to compete and bring in some big scores. So,
did you feel like you didn't?
Part of my existence was always wondering that same question. But I thought that brought the best out of me. I had so much heart and soul into it. I guess in the amateurs, I was able to win the national championships and at lowers. And that was like a huge accomplishment for me. Cause like I said, like we always felt kind of like the underdogs and you got to swing in, give it hell. And that was like extremely awesome. I love competing. I love the passion that it brings out. And, yeah, I don't know. It forces you to dig deep.
What was the distinction though for Tanner? You mentioned.
Well, yeah, some people, and you see it on the tour because I'm sure you watch quite a few events. Like some guys, under the circumstances of pressure, elevate, and they're surfing out of their minds, and it to a level where, like, even if you're free surfing, I don't think they could access it.
Yeah.
So like that extra gear, I felt like I was not able to tap into, but I think for Pat and Tanner, they were both able to go there, and make those clear decisions and peak moments when you had to in the finals and up against a heavy opponent, like those critical small decisions and holding your composure, that's how you make the quantum leaps.
Yeah.
I was like, I ended up, I did the tour for 4 or 5 years and had a freaking blast and was kind of grinding the gears a little bit on the format and scoring. And it wasn't the language that was natural to me, which was totally fine because I made so many friends on that tour and culturally got to experience places that blew my mind. And if we're talking like young 20s, having a freaking hell of a good time, like people go to college and get that out of their system, like it was loose, you know what I mean? Like it was freaking wild. So that was good fun. And then it helped me on my path. It's a part of me.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Do you remember, was there a flashpoint moment where you realized that wasn't for you? And was there even an opportunity to have a career without it?
That's yes, totally. 100%. It was, there was a year where Patrick and Tanner both qualified, and that was the year we had that heat together at Sunset Beach. at the end of the year.
I don't remember.
Yeah. It was
all three of you?
All three of us.
Okay.
And it was cool because Tanner needed to make that heat to qualify.
Okay.
It was really fun to have that moment all together in the water. It was sick. And it was cranking huge. And I was like falling way back in the ratings, and, you know, my heart wasn't into it. And I was, you know, spending a lot of time in Hawaii at that point and falling in love with Sunset Beach and falling in love with Pipeline and understanding, like, dude, there's some big hollow waves, and maybe that's better suiting my skill set and my body profile and just like my mentality and my mindset. Like, maybe that's what I'm intrigued by. And so hanging out with people who also value the same things, and, you know, seeing Pipeline as like a religion and like literally investing your heart and soul and spirit into this thing. Like, to me, that was intoxicating. And like, I wanted to surround myself with people like that. So, you know, I spent time with guys like Nathan Fletcher and Reef McIntosh and Danny Fuller, and all of those guys at that point in time really nurtured my journey into riding hollow reef passes in Fiji and Chopu and Indo, wherever it was just like, hey, let's hit it and let's go all together. Magazines were still popping off at that point. I remember having the conversation with Vans, like, hey guys, like, I know, you know, we've been on this journey of competing, but like, dude, this is where my heart's at. Like, I feel like if I can give it a good crack, like, I know I can make headway. And it is vulnerable. Like, you're leaving something super secure that you can just keep going on, and you're just going to stage left and jump into the unknown. And it's like, if you fall on your face, then so be it. And Vans was so supportive. They're like, awesome. But they weren't necessarily like, there wasn't like, hey, here's your itinerary or here's this. It was like, awesome, let's see what you do here. Like, where are you going to go with this? And it was like, freaking sweet. Thanks so much for the support. I love this opportunity. And, you know, I, again, like, realizing from a young age, you have to work hard and you got to dedicate to it. It was like, man, you just keep applying that same effort and passion for something that you're interested in. And it's allowed me, I mean, gosh, I don't even know how long ago that was, like over 10 years ago. And I'm still doing it in a way that's, you know, changing and navigating those changes. So, you know, I feel really fortunate.